Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey bro, did you catch the name of the new Xbox?
Oh, what, you mean the Xbox One?
Xbox One?
One, yeah.
One what?
What?
One what?!
Welcome in to this special broadcast of the FC Podcast.
Yay!
With your two favorite hosts, Killer Gunny 132, and to my right, Toast 78901.
We're special! Yeah! Like the car show!
Okay. This special episode is in celebration, or in demise, or in depression.
Celebration! You're not gonna hear any celebration from me on this one.
It was the announcement of Microsoft's Xbox One, the predecessor, or not the predecessor, but the...
not the predecessor, despite what the name would imply.
Yeah, I know, Xbox One. The Xbox One was actually the original Xbox.
Yeah.
But the sequel to the Xbox 360, and also to the original Xbox, the Xbox One. I know the name cut a lot of people off.
No, that's the original Xbox, is what the first Xbox is.
The original Xbox.
I still, like, it's like when I think about PlayStation, it's PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4. Even if you give it a different name, it's still PS followed by a number.
Yeah.
This one, all of a sudden, now it's like Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, it's the original Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One. That will confuse people.
It doesn't make sense in terms of flow.
Especially when you look at the design of the Xbox One, it has this retro 80s style.
It looks a lot either like a 8-track player or like the original NES system.
Or I've heard a VCR player.
That's what an 8-track looks like.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. Well then.
Anyway, so let's run down a few things. First of all, we're going to start off.
Most importantly, I think, okay, before we get into any of the specs, I think we need to point out the most important feature of this entire conference, and that's that there's a dog in the new Call of Duty game.
Oh yes, man, dogs.
You need to have a dog squad mate while you're doing your bullshit stuff out in the desert in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Bro, I love dogs. Dogs make me buy video games, or at least that's what fucking Infinity Ward thinks, or Activision. Whoever's making this game, I forget.
No, here's what I'm gonna say right now. That's great. You came out with another fucking Call of Duty game. Have fun with your cookie cutter piece of shit.
Call of Duty Ghost.
Call of Duty Ghost.
But on a serious note, I didn't see anything very impressive in Call of Duty Ghost.
You're implying one could see anything impressive in Call of Duty.
Okay, the way they presented it at first is like, we tried to do something new. We could have made, Modern Warfare 4 or, come up with that cookie cutter shit, but they decided they're going to do something new. It's like, okay, what do they got? It looks shinier and they have a dog.
It's still a cookie cutter game.
The only thing cool is that the dog is there.
It's
that
still
is kind
a
of cool.
cookie cutter game.
Other than that, I'm not impressed.
It is one of the many series so far that have devolved into cookie cutter games for profit margin and not for the actual art of a video game. I have no respect for them.
Yeah, some of the animations they were touting as like revolutionary that
LOL, Battlefield did it.
Yeah, Battlefield has had those for like 3 years.
LOL, Battlefield did it.
Come on. And fucking Battlefield on the 360 looks better than Call of Duty on the One. I mean, come on. What is this?
Battlefield on the 360 looks better than Call of Duty on the PC.
Yeah. Well,
that's saying something. But enough about Call of Duty, because it doesn't belong in this talk, because to be honest, it's just a piece of shit. So we're going to go ahead and continue now with the talk of the Xbox One.
Yes. I think we're going to start, first and foremost, there was a really nasty rumor out there that the Xbox One would be always on, and that's not the case. You do not need to be on 24/7 for this system to work.
Yeah, you do not at all. However, interesting little loophole thing here with the always on thing. You need to be connected to live and online in order to install your game to the hard drive, which you need to do before you can play any games.
Yes. Now they are doing this system where you buy the physical media from like a GameStop or something,
which is going to go out of business because of this. I'll explain that soon.
You bring the media home and then you put it in your Xbox, and just like the PS3 did with their system, you have to install the game first before you play it. And basically, what happens when you install the game, that physical media is no longer needed.
It's no longer valid.
Yeah.
Essentially, all the other thing is this baby comes with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, which, to be honest, considering this is 2013, isn't much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're in the age of the terabyte. But, however, this hard drive that is so large isn't really going to be used for jack shit, because pretty much everything, guys, is going to be stored on cloud.
Yes, the games you install, the DLC you download is all going to be connected to your account, and your account is going to have like its own cloud storage.
So essentially, although you don't need to always be online unless you want to constantly sync it to your hard drive, which it might do automatically, I wouldn't be surprised. But even then, pretty much you're going to be running everything off of their online servers.
I know we were talking earlier, and you thought that you could possibly use the hard drive on the one to back up data.
That's essentially what I mean, yeah. Because, like, for example, say power goes out, or not power, but internet goes out in an area, like a line gets knocked down or something.
Yes.
I still want to play my games.
Yeah.
Well, if I haven't backed up on my hard drive instead of just cloud, I should still be able to do so.
Yes, but we just want to get that out of the way. That was the big rumor going in, but now I think we'll look at the design first. I mean, it's black.
It's boxy.
It's black and boxy.
I am boxy, you see?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what this just reminds me of. The controller looks a bit bulkier, but at the same time a little more precise in terms of the way the buttons are.
Yeah.
The controller itself looks bigger, but the buttons kind of look shinier. Like, it almost looks, and this could just be the way the shot is. We're looking at a picture right now on Kotaku. It's probably the one everybody's seen of the frontal view of the thing. And it almost looks like the buttons kind of almost look like they have a bit of their own backlight. I don't know if it's just a reflective surface or anything, but it has that glow effect to it. And, it could just be the picture in and of itself, but that'd be kind of cool.
Yes.
It'd kind of glow a bit. That'd be cool.
Once again, everything is black.
Yeah, everything is black.
They've gone with the black color.
The thumbsticks look a bit more accurate in terms of placement for your thumb. They're kind of indented a bit more, and they have a little ring, better grip. The guide button is now gone.
Is it gone? I thought they moved it up, or is that just a logo?
I think that's just a logo.
Okay.
I see no indication of it as a button unless it is touchscreen oriented. I haven't heard anything
That's
about
interesting
that,
because the 360, the guide button was a huge feature. You could access everything from your dashboard from the guide.
Yeah, but if you notice now, the back button and the start button are also different. They have different symbols on them now. Which I don't know what those denote.
Because the back button, it didn't have a lot of use, but it did have some use.
Actually, I think about it. You don't need a guide button anymore because Connect ships with everything, and everything runs off Connect now.
Yeah, but then I guess you're forcing people to use Connect.
Well, yeah, you're forcing it, but in terms of audio, I mean, that's not really that big of a force.
I guess.
I mean, if you have a cramped apartment, that's fine. You don't need to get Connect Sports, but you can at least use it for audio commands.
Yeah, that brings us to the next point. Connect is shipping with every console.
And it also looks strangely like HAL.
And also, I believe they said you need to have it plugged into the console for your console to work. You can't turn it on without the Kinect.
So if it breaks in some kind of weird Kinect accident, you're fucked.
Yeah, and then you just order a new one. I'm pretty sure they have a warranty of some sort.
Of course, you need to buy a new one straight from Microsoft because they're going to milk you for money on this new console. Something to be discussed later on in this discussion from yours truly.
And as far as the design of the Kinect sensor is, it's also very boxy.
Everything is boxy. Like I said, it looks like HAL.
Yeah.
It looks like HAL, the little eye does. And fun fact here, guys. Your Kinect is always watching now.
Yeah, it is always on. A very good example of that is you could be walking around your room and you can say Xbox on and the Xbox will turn on.
It is constantly on, constantly monitoring, constantly collecting information, and it only shuts off if you unplug it.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I'm a little creeped out by that.
I'm
not okay with this. It looks like HAL. It listens to me all the time. Pretty soon it's going to have a speaker that starts talking back to me and I can hold casual conversation with it. And then pretty soon it's going to be trying to take over my house.
Xbox on. I'm sorry. I cannot do
that. Xbox, play AC. I'm sorry, Toast. I can't let you do that. What? Windows. Metal. Door. Metal. Everything shuts down.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, that's pretty much the design of it. Another fun fact about the Kinect, it's a lot more sensitive now. It's a lot more... the camera's a lot better. I was watching a demo of it, and it can read your finger now. It can read your fingers. The lighting is a lot better. If, let's say, you have like a window open in the background, and there's like this light coming in, and on the old Kinect sensor would mess it up. It wouldn't be able to see you correctly. And now it now adjusts for light changes.
Yeah, it adjusts.
Also...
The other interesting thing, guys, is that it can tell your heart rate.
Yes.
By looking at you.
Yes. You don't have to be touching anything for it to check your heart rate, which is kind of scary.
Which apparently the controllers now are a little more revamped and their touch sensors and that kind of stuff, but apparently it can know, the Kinect knows who you are not only by your visual stuff, but by your heart rate, and the controller knows who you are by grabbing it. Is that correct?
Also by your voice, yes.
Yeah, by your voice, and also, if you grab the controller, your heat signature can sign you in because it knows who you are.
Yeah. That's technology nowadays.
It's a little disturbing. I wanted to buy a game console, not HAL 9000. I'm just throwing that out there.
Also, a fact about the Kinect is that it will work in pitch black. It has a backlight feature now, and it sees you in pitch black.
Hopefully it's not as racist anymore.
Oh, I don't think so.
You don't think so? You think it's still going to be racist?
Kind of, yes. Especially people with long hair.
Oh, no, that's the thing. It discriminates against people with long hair the most. On the original Kinect, if it was kind of blocking your face even a tiny bit, it wouldn't just not recognize you for signing in purposes. Mm-hmm. It would negate any movement you made.
Yes.
Because it couldn't see your face.
Mm-hmm.
I have long hair, of course. Papa Big Dick, who you guys have heard if you have been listening to the podcast, he had long hair for a very long time. He just recently cut it. And him and I would be over here at Gunny's, and we'd be doing stuff on the Kinect, and it would stop reading us in the middle of whatever we were doing. And it wouldn't pick us up unless we, like, literally pinned our hair back.
Yeah. But Microsoft's big thing here with shipping a Kinect with every Xbox One is they want to integrate this Kinect into gaming. And they've sort of done that when you look at Mass Effect, and also with Skyrim, they had a patch there.
Not really. The only cool thing that we saw from the Kinect was with Skyrim and the fact that I could actually pronounce the shouts.
Yes, that was cool.
Oh, Nakas!
Also, in Mass Effect, you could order your teammates around, and you could also activate the dialogue options with your voice. That was kind of cool, but also kind of buggy. It wasn't
and
completely...
like how Peyton Manning found out that in Madden you can call audibles at the line.
Madden also integrated that, but it was also kind of buggy. So
anything with voice stuff that's buggy reminds me of that South Park episode where they have the guys from the future come and they go into like the McDonald's thing and he's like, "Yeah, can I get a burger?" And he's like, "Chicken sandwich?" And he's like, "No, I want a burger and fries." Chicken sandwich?
Oh my gosh, yes, but obviously they're trying to integrate Kinect more. So now everyone will have a Kinect, whether you like it or not.
In terms of the other things, I think, before we start talking about the actual software of this baby, let's talk about the hardware itself. It's got an 8-core CPU with 8 gigs of RAM, 500 gigabyte hard drive, a built-in Blu-ray drive, which is long overdue.
Oh my god. I don't know why that didn't ship with the original Xbox Elite or even the fucking Slim.
Yeah, the Elite or Slim I could have seen it with. The original one, it was too close to the time period. I understand that. But when you ended up releasing the Elite and Slim, I don't understand why you didn't include a fucking Blu-ray player.
That was like, what the hell were you thinking, Microsoft? I don't get it.
It's going to have an 802.1 in wireless driver with Wi-Fi Direct.
Basically, it'll be better at Wi-Fi.
Way better, which is good because I know the current one is kind of crap with that. It's also going to have HDMI cables for in and out.
Yes.
Both of them. The in one is a little, of course, I think at first glance everybody's kind of like, why? I can see it used for entertainment purposes. You can plug everything in.
Yeah. It's more integrate everything into our system, please.
Yeah, which is, again, the name.
Your life becomes the Xbox One.
I'm going to talk shit about the name soon to come. And, of course, USB 3.0s because no one uses 2.0s anymore.
Yeah, well, USB 3.0 or
3.0.
3.0.
I am Xbox Protocol Droid 3PPO.
All right, so
3PPO. What is wrong with me today?
As far as Microsoft, they opened their conference with going into apps and stuff, and they have this feature called Snap, I guess, where you can be doing two things at once. Like, let's say you're watching a movie on your Xbox, and then you can be chatting with someone on Skype at the same time. So they now have ways to have two apps going at the same time.
Here's my question. This baby has 8 gigs of RAM. Mm-hmm. Why can't I do more than 2 things at once?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
My computer has 6 gigs of RAM, and I can listen to music, email, PC game, and talk on Skype all at the same time.
Yeah.
And not stress my system. Mm-hmm. Why can't I be doing that on this?
I have no clue. But yeah, also a big one with Skype is being integrated for the first time. You can video chat, you can do all kinds of things.
What was that?
Cool. That was a burp.
Oh, you were like...
Yeah. Which I can kind of see using with the community because there's a lot of community Skype logs.
Scap chat.
Scap chat.
Oh, actually, I just thought of this.
Yes.
In terms of Battle.net stuff, it might be easier to run because you could have Skype open while you have Halo 4 open.
Yes, that was
so you would be able to run Battle.nets and everything and actually still be in the setup chat and be able to communicate effectively while setting up games. This could possibly
I'll get to something else that I just thought of. Anyway,
what's that?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
But yeah, that would also be very interesting because you can play games and also access apps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, actually.
Yeah, that is cool. My only complaint is why only 2, which that's going to bring me to my first main point here, my gripe with this. And I know you had a conversation with Blackhawk about this. As Blackhawk put it, it's 2013. Why doesn't this baby have 16 gigs of RAM?
Yeah.
Why only 8? A decent gaming rig. You can get by with 6, but a good gaming rig is about 8. Essentially, the specs for this baby are the same as a decent gaming rig for PC gaming. Which, although I understand that PCs that can run it are quite more expensive, as long as you have a base like I do, for example, with my laptop, because, I mean, it's got pretty much everything I need. it would be cheaper to just upgrade my laptop and switch over to PC gaming. And not only would I have access to the modding community, which is amazing in the PC, that's one of the things that distinguishes from that, is also the way in which its servers and game sizes work. I mean, now they're talking about larger parties with this new Xbox, of course.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that, it's going to go up to 16v16 for stuff?
I could guess. I'm not sure, though.
But the thing is, with PC gaming, you can see upwards of 32v32 or even 64v64.
Yeah.
Now that's a fucking online match. That's a war sim. You want to get into like war stuff. Imagine having like 4 squads going at once on one giant map. Yeah. Now that would be something.
That would be something. But,
that would be a war, my friend. But essentially my point here is it's got nicer specs. It's got a lot more. The original RAM on the Xbox 360 was 512 megabytes. And that was what my netbook had. Remember my little shit netbook? That's what that had.
Back in 2005, that was sort of, I guess, impressive.
That was decent. That was all you needed. Yeah. And even then, with 512, we were able to run Battlefield. We were able to run Skyrim, everything. Granted, the Xbox needed multiple discs for certain games.
Yeah. That's where that became a problem.
Yeah, but it was decent.
Yeah.
So 8 gigs of RAM, almost 16 times what we had before, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
You will be able to do a lot more. My question is, why isn't more being put into it, though?
Yeah. The Xbox One is a pure entertainment system. You have gaming, you have media, all kinds of media apps. And if you were to get like a computer just for media, you would fucking clank that thing full of RAM, right? Why not do that with the Xbox?
Yeah, like...
Put as much you can into it without overdoing it.
I wouldn't even say that there's anything in terms of overdoing it for something like this, especially if they're planning on revolutionizing things like they are. I'm sorry, you're a little behind.
Yeah.
This is like when the Apple iPhone comes out with something and they're like, now we have this processor, and Android is like, really? We did that 2 years ago. That's what Xbox is doing right now in the footsteps of the PC world.
Yeah, I get, 8 gigabytes is more than enough, but I mean, I just worry that we're going to run into 2 discs again in 3 or 4 years, just like we did, because games are going to get more huge and graphically heavy, and you're going to need more discs, so. I want
64v64 maps, though.
I just think you avoid that problem.
Imagine the dynamic that would cause in matchmaking.
Someone's hosting
64v64.
Well, I mean, that would solve the problem if, like, games had dedicated servers that don't depend on someone's connection.
Well, with the Xbox One, we're actually getting, 300,000 more servers?
I think, like, in total 300,000 servers.
In total 3,000. I think it was 75,000 more.
I think, yeah.
So... it's definitely got the server load behind it. I'm not too concerned about the servers, to be honest. I think they've done all right so far. Yeah, there's been a lot of problems with Halo 4, but I don't know how much I blame on Xbox as much as I blame it on Microsoft.
Yeah.
Or Microsoft. Wow, sorry.
Just people's connections.
People's connections, 343. I mean, that has a lot of different factors. In terms of just Xbox servers, though, they've been pretty decent so far.
Yeah, they have. Now let's get into some of the meat and potatoes of this. Talk games. Like video games, because it's a video game console.
Oh, do you really want to get me started right now?
First of all, even before the new generation came out, I'm just talking the Wii U, the PS4, and the Xbox One. Before that, there's always this worry that video games were going to go toward, they're going to kill the used game market. Things like DRM that EA did. They're going to make you pay for like an online pass, which they sort of did, but that didn't work out too well. I mean, even then it was only like $10 for an online pass. And there was this worry that they're going to kill the used games market. They're going to require you to buy some sort of pass. And, well, it looks like that's what Xbox is doing.
Yup.
In a Kotaku article where they asked the vice president of Microsoft, he said, yes, when you buy a game, you come home and you install it on your system. And after you install it, that used disc becomes useless. I mean, you can lend it to a friend, but in order to play it, they're going to have to buy a code. And the code is going to be the full purchase price of the game.
So, say Gunny gets a game here, and he's like, hey, buddy, I got this cool game. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I'll try it over at your house. And I'm like, hey, I kind of like this. Can I borrow it? Hey, I'll give you another one in return. We'll trade games for a bit. I have to buy the fucking game.
Yes, basically.
So my question is, why the fuck don't I even just buy the game? This kills friend-to-friend trading, and this kills the used game market.
Pretty much.
Why would I rent a game now through
that kills
like
GameFly completely.
Yeah, why would I rent GameFly?
I never realized that until now. GameFly's dead.
Well, in terms of 360, they also have PC, Wii, and PS4.
They have PC games?
Yeah.
Interesting.
However, the thing is, you run them through their system, though. Like, I don't even think it's on a rental basis. Okay. It's on a buy basis. Okay. The other thing is, PS4 might do this. We don't know enough about the PS4
yet. They've kind of been mums the word on that. Yeah. They haven't talked much about that.
Which kind of makes me feel like it's going to be. And then Wii, but I mean, that's not a large enough market to sustain an entire company.
The Wii U kind of fell flat on its face.
Well, of course, it's fucking Nintendo. Nintendo died in 99.
The GameCube was great. I love the GameCube.
Okay, yeah, no, the GameCube was great. I don't know why I said that. Why did I say 99?
That was the last great console, though. The Wii was kind of cool for being motion, but then it just didn't...
It was what you'd find in any cheap parlor arcade game factory.
Yeah, you know, or the arcade with the guns and the
exactly.
shooters.
It wasn't anything special. It really was not special.
It was cool for a couple hours, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, and then you realize...
I'll just sit on a couch.
Yeah, exactly. And then you realize you could play Wii bowling from your couch.
Yeah.
You didn't need to stand up. You just flick the wrist.
At least with the Kinect, you have to get up and do things. But anyway.
Video games promoting weight loss since 2009.
But yeah, that is concerning. Originally, when I heard it, I mean, I wasn't surprised that they're going to do like this code thing. I thought it would be like $10 or something.
Yeah,
like
Gunny
code.
actually, I called him earlier and we were kind of talking about this, of course, because we were going to prep for the show and we were just kind of discussing in general. And I ended up telling him, I was like, well, you know, that kind of pisses me off. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, they do it because they're losing money, which, by the way, that's going to come later, my talk on money. And we originally thought that it would be like $5-10. And I was like, I don't like it, but it's doable.
Yeah.
You're going to have to adjust used game prices because you can't sell a used game for $40 now. You're going to have to sell it for like $25 to get people to buy it. Yeah. But it's still doable. Now, essentially what I see happening is, okay, say you want a used game. Well, if you want the physical media of it, which certain people would probably want for collectorship, you have to buy the used game. If it's no longer in print, by the way. Here's the thing, because they stop manufacturing game discs after a long enough time period.
You know what? They might just make new copies. I don't know. That is the question, though.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Say they stop making new copies and I jump onto a series a couple years late. I have to buy that game on eBay probably for about $20, pay for shipping, which is $5. Now I'm at $25, and then pay for the full price of the game new just to play it. So now I'm up to $85. That is, granted, if they're still only $60, which that might even change. Mm-hmm. I'm literally paying more than the game is worth just so I can actually have and purchase the game and keep it in my collection.
Oh, that's complicated how they're going to do that then. Because, I mean, if you buy a used game, let's say you buy a used game for $30, and then you have to pay $30 for the code. I mean, then you're looking at $60. Or will it just be the code will be the price of the game, and then you get the disc? Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting is the VP who originally stated all this kind of stuff having to do with, downloads and all that kind of stuff and why essentially it would kill the used game market. He also released a statement saying that the trading market and the used game market is not dead.
Yeah.
But they have a new way of doing it. However,
online trading is what he called it.
Online trading, which is a little difficult to kind of conceptualize. I'm a little confused as to what they mean. The way that it sounds now is that when you want to sell a game, you sell the rights to it back to Microsoft.
Yeah.
They make it so you can no longer access it from cloud because you sold it. And they essentially give money probably to your account. And then your account can then be used to purchase other games.
Microsoft points.
Microsoft points, which then you can use those Microsoft points to either buy a game DLC or go onto the used game marketplace and buy games that were previously owned by somebody else off of their cloud.
Oh, Microsoft. You're trying to fucking kill the used game market and then take it for yourself.
Exactly. They're taking the used game market for themselves. And then, on top of that, the interesting thing is they said you can trade with friends.
That would be interesting.
That's the part that, because my thing is, okay, well then, say we're going to trade with friends. Well, we're a gaming community, right? Yeah. Say there's a game that everybody wants to play, but no one wants to shell out $70 for it. We all pitch in 50 cents. We buy a community copy. Somebody plays it, passes it on. Somebody plays it, they pass it on.
But that wouldn't work because you need a code to play it on each new box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, wait, yeah. Well, no, wait, yeah. Well, then what would be the point of trading games?
That wasn't a trade game. That was just everyone pitching in money to buy a game.
No, they said you can trade with friends.
Yeah.
So that implies that I can trade games with you.
Yeah.
That means that I can give you the game off of my cloud, is what that implies. Onto your cloud so you can play it.
But I'd have to exchange something. Something of value.
Well, they don't necessarily state that it's something of value, is what I'm saying. The word trade, especially in the game industry, is a little vague here.
There's no way they're going to let you give someone else a game for free, because that just kills their whole code feature.
Yeah, it does. But here's my other thing. Okay, so you have to trade it for value. You said it earlier. There has to be some way of calculating this.
A value system.
Because otherwise, what if I trade you a indie, 200 Microsoft point game off the marketplace for a full price $60 game? Can I do that? Because if they say no, well then obviously I can't trade with my friends. I can't trade the way in which we would normally trade, for example.
Once again, they'll probably add a value system to everything, and it would have to add up. Like, let's say you'd have to trade for those games for that one game.
But I'm saying that's not how buddies trade games. Like, kind of, I gave you the example. Take Halo 4 when it was brand new. Say I got into Halo at Halo 4, and you were going to lend it to me so I could play campaign. Okay. I had, I don't know, what's a game that came out a very long time ago, like release of the Xbox 360?
Like a launch title?
Yeah.
Call of Duty 2?
Okay, I have Call of Duty 2, okay? You haven't gotten into Call of Duty yet. So you decide to play all the way through.
Okay.
I have Call of Duty 2, you want it. It's 7 years old, 8 years old. You have Halo 4, which is less than a year old. I have what you want. You have what I want. Let's trade. Well, the values don't add up because yours is a $60 game, mine is a $5 game. Yep. So do I have to, you see what I'm saying? Like, it kills trade.
You could do that.
Like if it was on a time system?
But you couldn't, you couldn't, trade, it would have to be like a retail game. You couldn't trade a little indie game, though.
Okay, well,
even you could trade indie games for indie games, retail games for retail games.
Even then,
sports games for sports games.
But even then, what I'm saying is, I mean, it's still kind of like, is that whole thing where the value system doesn't necessarily...
Yeah, I don't
unless
know.
It's a trade on a timeline thing. Like, there's a terms of trade that you trade it to somebody with a little number that says 2 weeks, a month, or something like that, and then the game's reverse. You see what I'm saying?
That's still... I don't see them doing that either.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decode what he means. He's being cryptic with this whole thing. I'm trying to figure out exactly what he's going for here.
I think it's just a marketplace. People can put their games up for X amount of money.
That's for the used game market. I'm talking the trade between
I think he's
friends.
also working that in.
Oh,
like
okay.
a trade market or something.
That would be weird.
Once again, I think Microsoft's trying to kill the used game market as it is right now and take it for themselves.
Money.
So they can get the money.
Money.
Because they didn't see any of that used game money.
And they shouldn't.
Let's see. Also, we covered that.
No one else does that.
What?
Fender doesn't see any money for any of the guitars that are sold in pawn shops. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
HP doesn't see any of the money for refurbished laptops.
Well,
That's
honest,
just how it is.
They can't help it anyway. You can't put a chip on a thing anyway.
Well, I know, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where no other market is doing this.
But Microsoft found a way to do it, and now they're going to maximize
They don't need
it.
to. They don't need to. Okay, before we get into that one, because I have a whole rant plan for you guys on that.
Scroll on the article just to check something before we get into that. Pics of stuff.
I'm dying over here.
Oh, your gamer score will carry over from your Xbox 360.
And there's a whole new achievement system that's powered by cloud that'll let you rack up points in new ways, whatever that means.
Yeah, speaking of games. Oh, yeah, okay. The games they showed at the conference, of course, Call of Duty Ghost, we went over that, and the dog. They showed some sports games. They showed the new Madden game. They showed FIFA. And actually, the makers of FIFA and Madden, EA, they come up with a new system for the new console. It's called Ignite. I saw some gameplay of it. It looks interesting, although they had something similar when the 360 released. And the graphics looked amazing there, too. And then the game that came out after that looked nothing like what they showed at that conference.
Do you really trust EA at all?
I don't.
Because I don't.
I'm...
Just look at Madden 25, the 25th anniversary for that one, and you'll see how you can't trust EA for shit.
Oh, and also NBA Live, which is the dead NBA franchise that EA made, but lost out to NBA 2K, and now they're trying to revive it again, which I don't think it'll work. But as far as games are concerned, they showed something called Point Break.
Point Break?
Or, yeah.
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break, there you go. Point Break is...
and also a new horror game from... Oh, no, that is from...
it's called
Remedy.
Quantum Break.
Oh, the folks behind Alan Wake called Quantum Break.
Yeah.
That's the one that we saw at, remember?
No.
I think that's the one that they advertised
Quantum
at the VGAs,
Break or Alan Wake?
At the VGAs.
Quantum Break?
Yeah, the Quantum Break, remember? And it was all like... And it was all like, all over the place, and then everybody was like... They didn't announce the name, and then everybody was like, that looks like a new, or a... What was it? A...
Metal Gear?
Spin-off, yeah, a spin-off of Metal Gear.
I think that was confirmed to be Metal Gear.
That wasn't Metal Gear, though,
I think it was confirmed to be Metal Gear. Because that guy looked like... I fucking forget the protagonist's name.
Snake,
yeah. It looked like Snake. I think that was confirmed to be Metal Gear. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Man, I don't really care.
Yeah, but yeah, those are the games. Call of Duty Ghost was bleh, except for the dog was kind of cool. The EA games were like...
Stop buying into their marketing ploy.
The EA games are like, that looks cool, but I don't trust you, bro. And then Quantum Break, I've seen something...
As we've seen with Peyton Manning, you can call audibles from the line in the new Madden with your new Kinect that ships with every console.
I'm not a big horror game fan anyway, but whatever. But that was it for games. We're probably gonna... Oh, they announced they have like fucking 16 exclusives for the 360. Like 16 fucking exclusives.
For the 360?
Or no, for the Xbox One, sorry.
Okay.
For the Xbox One, they had like 16 exclusives. And eight of them are going to be announced at E3.
8 of them? This will be
8 of
interesting.
them.
By the way, just letting you guys know, we're going to try to set up a live show.
Yeah, we're going to
for
try
E3
to.
coverage. We're probably only going to live cover the Microsoft Day. The other ones we'll do a recap special, kind of like this one.
Yeah.
But we plan to do Microsoft's live all day from 12 to 6 or 10 to 6, whichever day it's on.
We'll see. Yeah, we're planning that as we speak. Anyway, now that we've gone into the games, we're going to get into something else. And this was a debate that we had earlier that we're going to bring to you guys. And that was about this whole used game thing that Microsoft is doing. I personally, I get it from a business standpoint. I get it from a business standpoint. And if I was in the CEO shoes, I'd be like, yeah, I do it because
I wouldn't.
Because I'm losing out on the used game market.
Nope. Even if I was CEO, I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
And here's why. And this is something that I expressed in last week's podcast. This is something that I've expressed many a time. Mm-hmm. Video games, and I have this argument with a member of my family, by the way. Video games are the new age form of art.
Okay.
They are a piece of artwork. There's an amount of human achievement and beauty behind this. Not only do we have all the arts that I personally feel, I mean, go ahead, liberal arts major, lol. I personally love writing, music, theater, everything. You have this gorgeous piece of artwork in front of you that is able to encompass all other parts of art behind it and then break even more barriers by putting the audience in the seat of the art. This is something that we should behold. This is something amazing.
Yep.
And then you turn it into a fucking profit margin. It sickens me.
They're expensive
It personally
to make. The
sickens
games
me.
are expensive to make. You have to make a profit on it.
Yeah, and oil is also expensive to make. Tell that to BP's, $1 billion revenue each year.
Okay. Well, we looked it up earlier. Halo 4 cost $40 million to make.
And how much did it make in its first week alone? Not counting DLC. Not counting Avatar stuff that was put online. Not counting any of the other stuff. Just the first week.
The first week, it grossed about $300 million.
They already went over by $260 million profit.
Yeah.
Already in the first week alone without DLC or anything else.
Yep.
They don't need any more. They don't need to milk the used game market to keep their market afloat.
Business majors learn from their first class that you're taught to maximize profit.
I understand that. And if this was Coca-Cola, I wouldn't give a fuck. Okay? If this was Adidas, I wouldn't give a fuck. If this was Nike, I wouldn't give a fuck. If this was Spalding, I wouldn't give a fuck. It's the fact that they're doing this to an industry that is based in an art form. If they did this with music, I would be pissed. It's the same reason why I hate music producers and why I hate record companies and why I feel that torrenting is the only way to go. It's not because I hate those band people are like, don't you support the band? No, the majority of their money comes out of shows and merch.
Yeah,
okay?
tours, yeah.
It does not come from the actual album. That supports the recording industry, which I cannot stand, okay? It's my same objection to that. However, it's being applied to this. What you're doing is you're milking art, and for me personally, that is a bastardization of it. That bastardizes it. That turns it into nothing more than a profit margin. We're seeing this huge trend in the gaming industry in general. Look at Call of Duty. Call of Duty fucking started it in my book. Cookie cutter games. One a year. Nothing changed. People keep buying it, lol. Let's maximize profit revenue.
Before Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty was a World War II game. It was popular, not for its multiplayer, actually, for its single player. And then Call of Duty 4 came out and they really revamped the multiplayer. And they made it Modern Warfare and it blew up. And then they saw money signs. And then they were like, boom, boom,
Same
boom,
with
boom,
AC.
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
AC, the new AC is no longer AC Black Flag, it's AC4 Black Flag. And they've now stated that they're going to come out with a game every single year, which means that they're going to skimp on everything. It's going to be a cookie cutter game and it's simply there for profit margins. This is fucking a disgrace.
Yeah, some of those game companies, they do milk the shit out of those franchises.
And I'm saying it fucking pisses me off from somebody who, and you've even known this because we've had multiple conversations about it. I'm not pulling this out of my ass. I very much wanted to go into covering the video game industry. I loved it. Yeah. I've loved it since I was a child. Music and video games have been something that I've grown up with. Yeah. And then to have something come around like this, frankly, it's a disgrace. It's a fucking joke.
And they weren't seeing any of that used game profit. That was all going to GameStop and GameFly and all those other companies. And they saw it as, hey, we're losing money in that area. Let's maximize our profit there using this code system.
But they're not losing money. They've already made enough. Okay, let me ask you a question. Would you be okay with, for example, Fender making every pawn shop and used music instrument shop keep a log of their used stuff and send part of the profit margin to Fender?
I don't know if they can do that.
But I'm saying, would you support it?
I'd be. It depends what percentage they'd want. If they'd want all of it.
Well, considering here that according to them, they want full price of the game. Okay, full price of the actual Fender guitar.
Full price of the.
Yep.
Then they're taking all of the pawn shop's profits. Like,
oh, really? You mean like what this is doing to the used game market? Would you support that with instruments then?
You're not killing the used game. GameStop gets the money from the game disc, but then Microsoft is getting their money from the game code or the developer.
Yes.
It's just that Microsoft sees this as we want the money out of the used game business because we're
not
seeing any of it.
I know, but what I'm saying is there's no longer any point to use GameStop for the physical media because you end up paying more than if you were to just buy it used on their marketplace.
Yeah, of course.
So what I'm saying is you're effectively killing GameStop. Because let's look at the demographic here. The demographic of the people that actually buy things for collector's sake is a small margin in terms of the video game industry. You have the diehards, which probably make up 10 to 25%. 75%, the rest of them, are broke college students or people under the age of 18 that don't have the money to go and spend extra money on an already expensive game just to have it. Yeah. So they're going to go for the cheaper option.
Yeah, of course.
So there you go. You're effectively destroying things such as GameStop and GameFly. They're still going to be able to make a profit in terms of new sales and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, much of their revenue, though, is made in the used game market.
They'd stay afloat because they do their pre-orders and they do sell new games and new consoles, but they will take a hit from the used games because they're not going to see any of that money.
That's what I'm saying. And would you be okay with Fender doing this?
To a pawn shop or something?
Yep.
If they feel like it's their product and they're not seeing the used game sale or the used guitar sales, I get it. I understand it.
Okay, well then would you be okay if, say, for example, I had a CD? Oh my God! By the way, God forbid, non-digital music media. By the way, you guys should totally go out. You guys should go out and listen to your favorite album played on a vinyl from a record player. Oh my God, it's such good. It's so amazing.
Vinyls are cool.
It's so good. That's just my little plug there. Anyway, I'll stop nerdgasming. Would you be okay with, say, Paramount Records? If they had a way to do so, if they had a way, this is theoretically speaking, okay, had a way to track your CD if you bought it, and if you were to sell it to me or let me borrow it, they had to see part of that money.
If they had a way, then I'd get it. I'd
You'd be okay with it.
I'd understand it. It's your product. You want to see all sales.
I'm not asking whether you understand it. I'm asking whether or not you feel it's justified. Those are two different. I understand the business practice. I object to it morally.
Putting myself in their shoes, I get it. It's justified.
Even if it's unnecessary.
They feel like they're getting robbed of money, so they feel they need to do it.
Yes, because $1 million industries are so being robbed.
Maximize profit. They have shareholders to think about.
I know, and this is something that I explained to you earlier, for example. We talked about this, and I said, okay, like you said, for example, first quarter comes out, they make a bunch of money off this new game. Second quarter comes around, they don't make as much. They see it as, quote unquote, we are in the negative right now. My response is, no, you're not in the negative. You're only in the negative when your, amount of production outweighs your revenue and how much you're bringing in. That's the only time that you're in the fucking red, okay? Other than that, say, first quarter, they gross $500 million. Okay. That's a huge amount for a game, but just theoretically speaking.
For example's sake.
Yeah. Second quarter, they only gross $500 million. Actually, no.
You just said 500 million, 500 million.
Sorry. The second they gross 100 million. There we go. Okay. Average, between the two quarters, they gross 300 million.
Okay.
They have all this money that they got at the beginning, and then it starts to slowly taper off. Are they really, if you think about it, are they really losing money or hurting for money?
Well, first of all, I think you're going to, if you just release a new product, you're going to see a gradual drop anyway in the second month. Of course. But if they see a dip where it scares them, then, they see it as losing money because they don't feel like, and if it's because of the used game market, then they don't feel, they feel they're missing out on that market. But
what I'm saying is, do they need, ethically, morally, do they need to be a part of this market? Go ahead and call me an idealist here. Go ahead and call me. But yes, that is what I focus on. I focus on ideals in life.
People are entitled to the profits of their products. That's all I'm going to say about that. Just for an example, I hate the Maloof's guts, but they sold the team and they got money. Do I like it? No, but they're entitled to a profit for their company that they sold.
In case you guys didn't know, the Malusa, the owner of the Sacramento Kings, which recently the sale went through. Yeah. You guys would know this if Gunny ever decided to do a sports segment, which he doesn't feel. By the way, he doesn't feel enough people in the community care about sports. If that's wrong, please let us know, because that's something that actually Gunny could do that's just him, kind of like how I have my tirades, which I need to do a new one soon. But anyway, FC podcast stuff aside, yeah, they're entitled to profits on their game. I'll agree with that. Yeah. I'm okay with that. What I'm saying is I don't feel they're entitled to milk the game. Because here's the thing. With the used game market, okay, this is my objection. Game comes out new for $60. Okay. They make their profit.
Okay.
Same game, same disc in this. We're going to follow one disc, this whole storyline, okay?
Okay.
Gets sold to somebody. Now it's on the used game market, okay?
Okay, so a friend sells it to
They
a friend,
make profit off the same disc again. Then that disc gets sold again because used games go in and out, in and out, in and out. The same disc will go in and out, in and out, in and out. They're making money off of every in and out, in and out, in and out. So where they originally only made, about $50 a game.
Yeah.
They're now making 50, then 45, then 30, then 20, then 10, then 5. And they essentially are making money off of the game for more than it's worth. That's my objection. Because if you total all those up, now you're saying that one game disc to this company is worth over $100, which it is not. It is not. That is artificially increasing. Artificially increasing the worth of this game to the company.
They don't look at it as they're getting more than the product is worth. They're getting exactly for what it's worth because they are getting the money. You're selling it to someone who didn't, okay, a used game, let's say the guy bought it for $60, and 4 months later, the game would be worth, let's say, what, $40?
Yeah, something
drop.
like that.
And then you sell it to your friend for $15, or just hand it to him for free. Then the company is pissed because, wait a minute, he just got our game for free. What's going on here? I mean...
What's going on here as I say this while I make the plans to release my new title, because it's been months down the line, that's going to gross another $500 million after I already grossed $500 million on the previous game in the first fucking week. Unnecessary to milk it. It's unnecessary milking, is what I'm saying. Now, if they were seriously hurting for money because of the used game market, we saw a huge drop in revenue because of things such as GameFly and such as that, then I would see it as justified. It's the fact that they didn't take a major hit, they are not hurting for money, that makes me feel that it's not justified. It was unnecessary to do so because you didn't need it to keep the company afloat.
You don't need to keep the company afloat, but it's more money toward your company, it's more money to your shareholders, and happy shareholders are a happy company. So. It's
still unnecessary is what I'm saying. We've completely reached a stalemate here.
Yeah, I know. We're hitting the same arguments back and forth.
I know, and I apologize to the listeners at home. Guys, go ahead and write in. Tell us which one you agree with. Gunny's argument is business. Business is business. And my argument is, yeah, I understand business, but that doesn't mean it's ethically correct. That doesn't mean it's morally correct.
I will say this. I don't agree with the full $60 or the full price fee. I think that's a little overdoing it. I was just thinking in my head, it's like when you buy a pack of juices, the little box juices, and then you hand your friend a little box juice, and they make the friend pay for that box juice. I think it's a little ridiculous. I can see them maybe charging $5 or $10. I get that.
I'm okay with that. I even stated I'm okay with that, because in terms of the used game market, they're able to make some. They're able to make their little cut, and the used game markets can still make some. Because essentially what that does is, say a game after 3 months is worth $40 instead of $60. Yeah. Now, to compensate for that $5 or $10 being charged by Microsoft, they drop their price of the used game by $5 or $10, and then it distributes it between the two companies, the guys who originally provided it and the used game company who's reselling it.
Yeah, it's kind of the online code. I get it. I mean, it's okay. $10 is not bad for that. I just don't agree.
Full price of the game? Come on, that's nuts.
I think the full price of the game is kind of ridiculous. That's going to discourage people.
So we can go ahead and agree on that. In terms of the actual fact of the matter is they're going to make you pay for full price for the game. Go ahead and write in, of course. Let us know who you agree with, whether you agree with me and see video games as a piece of art, and thus this becomes an ethical question of what exactly do we say about our own artwork in this modern world when we do this. Leave it to the liberal arts philosophy major to take it in that perspective. And then, or if you side with Gunny and business is just business and Toast should shut the fuck up. Go ahead and say in your mail that I should shut the fuck up if you want. Go ahead. I don't care.
Well, we've hit the 45-minute mark on our podcast, on our special podcast.
There's
about the
still
Xbox.
one thing that we need to talk about with the games.
And what is that?
That is the fact that they're not backwards compatible.
Fuck, we didn't address that.
No, we didn't.
Okay, yes, the games
We
are
spent
not
a lot of time
backwards
talking
compatible.
about specs. Yes, breaking news. They are not backwards compatible at all.
The
You cannot
Xbox
play
One will not be backwards compatible.
You cannot play original Xbox games on it. You cannot play 360 games on it.
That was I hated that the most. Because I have a whole stack of 360 games. Can't play on that thing.
You have to sit there and plug in your 360 whenever you want to play them.
I was not looking forward to that. I was like, I can put that in the closet and just forget about it.
And have it for sentimental reasons.
Yeah, you know, I just...
Like kind of like how I still have my SNES, even though I
Yeah.
can emulate anything. It's simple. It's sentimental reasons. Mm-hmm. But oh my god, this pisses me off. I think a bit more than the profit margin one. That one pisses me off for ethical reasons. This one pisses me off because it's illogical.
Yeah, I don't understand. You're not losing any...
And the argument that's being provided, this is a legitimate.
You're not
argument.
even losing any money on a potential market. You're just... This is...
No, they're going to gain money, and we'll talk about that one in a second. By the way, guys, if you guys are bored with this, I don't even know why you're still listening. In terms of the backwards compatibility, the problem that I see is, all right, we had this huge technological upgrade where we have literally 16 times the processing power of the original Xbox 360, and I can't play a 360 game on it. And the argument is that because you must install the game on the hard drive, there's most likely a problem with the coding that disallows you to be able to conform to the new system.
It's just like you can't install original Xbox game on a 360.
Yeah. However, my argument is, I'm sorry, what year is this? Oh, 2013? You're telling me you couldn't fix that? Or find a workaround? Yeah. Or code a patch for it? Like, seriously? You were that incapable?
They can code a patch. I remember there were certain original Xbox games that were not backwards compatible on the Xbox, and all of a sudden they made a patch, and then it was backwards compatible.
But you know why they're doing this, Gunny? Because they're going to do what the PlayStation did.
They're going to resell those games on a marketplace, on a digital marketplace.
Yep. What's going to happen is you're going to wait, I guarantee you, 3 years into this console. Mark my words, 3 years into this console.
I might even say, like, the summer after its release.
That soon?
I'm not, like, they'll do maybe this thing at the E3, like, Xbox 360 Premium, like, originals.
I think what they would do is they would wait 3 years, because at that point, after that 3 year mark, people are going, man, you know, I miss playing Halo 4. It was fun. Or Halo 3, actually, is what more people would miss. I miss playing the original AC games. I miss playing this. I miss playing that. You know, wouldn't it be cool if I could still play that without having to plug in my Xbox on the new console? Maybe even have a revamp of certain multiplayer servers for something cool, like as an event or something. And then boom, it's gonna happen. They're gonna be like, hey, you can buy them all in the marketplace now for an extra $15-20.
Here's what I have a slim quiver of hope for. Let's say they do that marketplace thing.
Okay.
But
if you have the disc, you can
have
put it
the
in,
disc, you put it in,
it reads it,
it.
and it just automatically goes to your hard drive.
Yeah.
That, I will love them. That I'm okay with. I'm so
and then people
okay
who don't
with
have the
that.
disc will have to rebuy it.
Yeah, I'm so okay with that. I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to charge us to have that game on my hard drive when I have it sitting on my shelf, I have a problem with you very much, Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that. That I heard that and I was like, no, that was what I was afraid of. Like I told him like months before this, like that's the biggest thing I'm afraid of. No backwards compatibility.
And you even sent me that text, right? He was like, sad face, it's not backwards compatible. I go, what is this? What is not backwards compatible? What is this shit? And he goes, you know, like playing older games. And I was like, thank you, Gunny. You missed my sarcasm.
Yeah. But now that we've addressed that point, now we can wrap up our Xbox One special. Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thoughts that I'd like to address is before you send in your hate mail about how Brandon's a stupid, crazy liberal fuckhead who needs to go back to Europe, who doesn't understand
You
business.
voted for Obama.
Who doesn't, actually, no, I did not. Who doesn't support business. One, I'd like to say, actually, if you ever want to talk business or economics, definitely hit me up. I originally wanted to go into economics as part of my focus with journalism. Secondly, think about this. Microsoft owns the technological world and they're working towards it. Not handhelds yet. Apple still has that. Mm-hmm. But they've come out with the Windows Phone that they're making a decent profit for those who buy it. It's going to get more and more popular as it comes out. It's kind of like how everyone didn't jump at the iPhone when it first came out. They own the computer world. Yeah. Hands down. The PC owns the computer world. You have about maybe 10% Linux, 30% Apple, and then 60% PC. Mm-hmm. Especially in the games market for PC. Especially. And everything that's important runs off of Windows. They're making a killing off of those two things and have been for a very long time. Especially the PC. They've been making a killing on that for a very long time. Then they also own Xbox. And now they're trying to milk that for money. Mm-hmm. Come on. You're making a trifle technological, like, billion-dollar industry that is owning everything. And you're going to start milking for profit? Like, is milking really necessary when your company is that big? Is it really necessary? My argument is no, it's not necessary. It's fucking crazy.
Companies don't become big companies by being modest. I mean...
That's not being modest, though. That's being an asshole. There's a big difference. Trust me, I know. I go between the two quite often. But yeah, that's essentially my final thought. Think about how much money they're really making as a whole in terms of a company and the amount of stuff that they're able to bring in with that. Do they really need to milk their gaming platform?
My final thoughts would be that I like some of what I saw. I like the integration with apps. I like the entertainment stuff.
I have one more final thought when you're done.
Okay. The games look interesting. Of course, some games that have been confirmed for the Xbox One. Destiny. That one game where the guy's a hacker on his phone. I can't think of the name. Watchdog. Yes, that was confirmed for Xbox One.
That one I want.
So what I look forward to most importantly at E3 is games.
I'm dying again.
But it was a nice starter. I heard some things I didn't like. Backwards compatibility, that number one. But I want to see them build on it and see what else they have.
Okay, yeah. My final thought. The final thought. Postscript is the name. The name pisses me off, and not because I wanted to name the 720, but because of what it says. It's Xbox One. It's your all-in-one entertainment system that can link to your Windows phone and your Windows PC. To be honest, for me, it's reminiscent of the creators of South Park when they came on E3 last year, announcing the South Park RPG. And their argument was, because they were talking about how the Xbox could connect to this and that and this and that. And they go, have you ever felt the need to access your washing machine while opening your fridge, cooking things in the microwave that is running off of a processor from your computer that you can text a command to while playing your video games and listening to your iTunes? Yeah, no, I haven't either. It literally is this kind of point where the connectivity and all that kind of stuff, for me, personally, is getting a little fucking crazy. It's unnecessary. I don't need... And to just kind of throw it as... Like, for me, I see the name as something that speaks volumes about the console. It's kind of like the title of something. The title is the most profound part of a novel, of an essay, or anything like that. It sets the tone for the rest of it. If your tone is one, as in, we're connected to everything else Microsoft that we're making a huge profit margin on, lol, I'm already dissuaded.
Okay. I mean, I have no problem with the name. It did come out of left field. I wasn't expecting it.
I was expecting Infinity. I personally wanted 720, but I knew that wouldn't happen.
I was expecting the Xbox, personally.
Which is horrible, because we already had that.
But Xbox One, I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. But whatever.
Before we go ahead and conclude this, I'm just going to ask Gunny a quick question. You said earlier that you had something that you were going to address later. I don't know if you ever got to that. You had like this revelation moment, and then you're like, I'm going to address that later. You said this with like 5 minutes into the podcast, or into the special.
I do not remember.
Okay, well there goes that one. If you guys were waiting on the edge of your seat, like, what did Gunny have to say? You're apparently not going to get it, and neither am I.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
All right, so with that then, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. This has been a full podcast length, but I think it's called for, considering that we are a community based around this fucking console.
Yes, but thank you for tuning into this special episode of the FC Podcast. Be sure to be ready on Monday when the Always Weekly episode comes out.
Episode 10, which will tie us for the longest running podcast
10
in FC history.
Will it be? I'd have to check on Carpe Vixilium stuff.
I thought you said he went up to episode 10.
I think I'd have to double check, but if it does, we'll celebrate.
Yeah, we'll celebrate. We're going to surpass it anyway. Guys, coming up Monday, we've got a lot to talk about in terms of FC event stuff. I'm actually going to be reaching out to certain individuals in the community. You guys will find out who we're looking for then. It could possibly be you.
Yes.
And the other thing is, don't forget that we're going to be holding the contest starting next week.
Yes.
Next week, listener mail that you send in is going to count towards a point system that is going to be used for a raffle to raffle off 800 Microsoft points. Send in listener mail, 1 point. Send in listener mail with constructive points, arguments, or anything like that, 2 points. Send in something with constructiveness that also suggests something to us that we use live on air, 3 points.
Yeah.
Definitely tune in and start sending in that listener mail.
Okay, yeah, what he said and everything. The contest starts next week, so be ready to send in that good listener mail. So yeah.
Oh, by the way, little final shout out before we conclude. Yeesus finally emailed us.
He did, and we're gonna read that on the next
week's
episode.
show. We're gonna have a full discussion about it.
It's great. I read it. He hasn't. It's great. Thank you, Yeesus. I love reading that. That was
Yeesus,
awesome.
I'm very much looking forward. I finished up my finals today, so I'll get a chance to dive into that tonight.
That was
I'm really
awesome.
Looking forward to it. So with that, guys, of course, thanks for listening. Tune in next Monday, and as always, stay classy.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Bye.